But as I said, the girls went back, and really, from there, the Federation started a girls' soccer team, a girls' national team. And 5 of the original 8 girls ended up playing on that team and were selected. 2 were captains as well. So, I think to see local development also when these local federations take on these initiatives and start programs is really powerful for me in terms of international development. When you give them the tools to succeed, they will. And I literally just got the ball rolling, and it's gone from there. So in the film, you'll see some of those girls. There's over 15 soccer teams today in Kabul. So we held a soccer clinic for them, and you'll see that clinic. And in addition, I'd love to hear your feedback on some of the footage. And I think what the film does too is it really breaks down a lot of the stereotypes. Even this picture itself, to see a girl wearing a headscarf and holding a soccer ball over her head, I think this image alone is very powerful and just breaking down the stereotypes that we have of Muslim women and women who wear headscarves as well. So if there's anything I'm very proud of in terms of my work, it's that I can enlighten more Americans about the religion and the culture also. So with that, I will start the film, and then I'll talk about the book from there. Do we want to turn off the lights at all?
Every day during the Taliban was a bad memory. Like having to stay in the house 24 hours a day. How couldn't I be scared? They were like wolves.
Back then, we were so poor we were begging to have enough money. We had nowhere to live. I was wondering if our lives would ever change.
At bedtime, I would always think, how many more years are they going to stay? How long would I live?
It is a vast and ancient land, harsh, striking, unforgiving. Afghanistan is a place whose people have known war and brutality far longer than they have ever known peace. The history is written into their eyes, sacrifice into their hearts. A decade of conflict with the Soviet Union was followed by a violent civil war. From the ashes of this devastation, a new power arose, the Taliban.
Chaos is the worst thing that people can endure. And it is the friend of every vile element that sprung up under the Taliban. When they took the country over, they issued a long series of edicts. And certainly the most stringent limitations were on women. They were not allowed to go out of the house without wearing a burqa and being accompanied by a close male relative. Cannot work in any capacity whatsoever. They were not allowed to educate their daughters. That is to say, not just that girls couldn't go to school, they were forbidden to be taught.
Even young children were denied the rights to laugh, to play. People were punished for simple things like wearing a more colorful clothes. Any kind of expression of freedom, of joy, of personal choice was punished.
There were executions. In the case of where you had something represented as adultery, a woman could be shot in the public parade ground.
Rights that women had was to remain silent and unnoticed and uneducated. They were made to disappear.
They are a generation of survivors, Born into the Taliban regime of cruelty and violence, they now have an opportunity to change their country. Shamila lives in the city, determined to have the education that was denied to her as a child. For Roya, life is more difficult. She shares her two-room home in the rugged hills with 9 family members. There is no electricity and no running water. These young women have lived separate lives, yet they have endured the same pain and are now joined together by a single purpose.
Every day I wake up and do my morning prayers. I pray to Allah for everyone's peace and health. I ask Allah to keep me safe while I'm going outside my house. I want to first go to school and then play soccer.
Some families do not allow girls to do sport or to work outside the house. When I started playing soccer, it started with a dream.
They suffered a childhood ruled by fear, where the very thought of playing soccer was unimaginable. It's why their experience on the field becomes so much more than a game. It is a vital step in their goal to improve the lives of girls and women in their country. For the first time, Roya and Shamila join with girls from all over Kabul in a sport known the world over, but banned for women during the Taliban reign. The field where they play is not set within the green hills of a public park, but shielded behind the imposing walls of a military base. They must be hidden from the public for their own safety. But to them, they have never been more free.
All of your champions. Okay, thank you for coming.
I know they've been through so much hardship. You definitely can see it in their facial expressions. You can see it in how hesitant they are when they're first walking into the field. And for them to just smile and to see the change, hopefully we can make him get rid of the past and move on.
When we leave the house to go play sports, this by itself indicates that we are defending our rights and that it is not only men who can play.
It's very courageous and something that I think the whole country can learn from.
The Ghazi Stadium is quiet now, but the memories of the beatings and executions that took place here are all too vivid.
One day they told us there's going to be a soccer game. They shot a woman with a pistol. They killed the poor woman at the Ghazi Stadium.
I was going to the bazaar, and all of a sudden, he whipped me on the back. When my mother tried to save me, she was beaten.
This is the world in which Shamila and Roya live. And the Taliban continues to incite fear for all girls and women in Afghanistan. By choosing to play soccer, they take a tremendous risk. By simply playing a game, they are bravely defying decades of brutal repression.
Death, assassination, these are real options for the opponents of women's freedom in Afghanistan. Most of these girls, they lived through the Taliban. They saw what these people could do, and still they do this. This tells you the quality of resolve amongst the Afghan women.
You're the best investment that you're making. Now, when we see these young girls play joyfully, we realize there's a strong hope for a new generation of Afghans.
Of course, that means freedom. First signs of freedom. These are the pioneers, and the rest will follow.
It was was inspiring to see that people are able to pick up after 30 years of war. Especially to see girls on the soccer field being children, I think, was something I couldn't have ever imagined. These are our future leaders, and I know that the country is in good hands.